Folks, this is Mitch Firestone coming to you from Wall Street in New York City, I'm looking at this chart here, and I want to show you something that I've actually talked about in the past, and that is the concept of a bull flag. Um, so what we're looking at here is a candle formation. It's a 15-minute chart here. Notice there was a huge gap up today, and then notice that now there's been relatively consistent sideways action here. So this gap and go with the very bullish green candle represents the flagpole, and then right here is the flag. And what characterizes the flag is that it's either going essentially perfectly sideways, more or less like what this is looking like. But the other way that this thing can present itself, and it's still valid, is to also be, it can also look in a sense something like that, where it's angling down a bit. Obviously, you don't want it to be looking, you don't want it obviously going vertical, but if it looks, let's say, something like that, that's still valid. So it's either going sideways or slightly down. And then the last thing is um, you have basically a declining volume profile. So right here was the flagpole. You had a little pop here on the first candle of the flag, and then after that you can see volume has really declined. And what this essentially is symbolizing is that really, there was the initial surge here. There's some consolidation here, but then essentially the way the theory goes is that once this volume kind of dries up, if you end up getting a bullish candle that closes outside of the above the flag, that's an indication that this thing is in a sense ready to do another kind of undergo another surge. And so that's your entry point. So again, so you have the formation of the flagpole, the sideways action. What you then do is you mark the top of the flag, and this I was using this initial candle here, and you can see that this green one actually did poke its head out very slightly. However, it didn't close outside the flag border. It only it kind of poked its head out, but then it immediately pulled back. Now, some people will absolutely take this the second that you have a bullish candle and it pokes its head out, they'll go with it. I tend to be a little more conservative about it, and in this particular case, it looks like it might be the right decision. Obviously, one sample does not make a theory, but I tend to be more conservative about it. I actually want to see the candle close outside. But if you end up getting a candle, let's say on the next one, that looks something like this, and that looks like that, at the close of that candle, then one then has essentially the permission to then hit the buy button at that point. And with any luck, obviously one is looking for this thing to then go. Once one does that, obviously one has to then kind of obviously put in some sort of risk parameter here. And typically, what people will do is, once it this is a momentum play, and so once it goes, and if it starts to go, well, then essentially you then place the stop really right behind the top of the flag, because that's the whole thesis for the trade, is that it broke out of the flag. So if it breaks back into the flag, well, then probably the momentum is in a sense false, and then at that point, um, essentially you allow yourself to get stopped out. But at that point, you really haven't lost a whole lot. So that's one way of doing it. And then if one happens to look at another form of price action, which is supply and demand, one can also look inside the flag and see perhaps there might be in this case, a demand zone that forms in there, and then one can use that to also inform the decision about where to place the stop. So in other words, it might pull back inside the flag, but then there might be an area of upward price pressure that's signified by the demand zone there. Obviously, that's a discussion for another day, but I wanted to just to kind of introduce this. So anyway, so again, to repeat, we got the flagpole here, the sideways action, the declining volume profile, and then the entry, which again is at the breaking the border of the top of the flag with a bullish candle that closes outside the top. So anyway, that's what I got, and I will catch you guys next time.